Buddy, what is going on? My name's Andres, and we have my lovely friend here, Amanda. And welcome to our channel. And first off, to kick things off for the first video, we're going to be talking about some topics that, these topics are like about like what usually people talk like on the low key, like when they're like by themselves. It could be topics that you guys may not want to publicly talk about. It all depends, but this is the purpose of these videos are to, or these podcasts are to just, it's like a free talk. It's just to talk about anything that comes to our minds pertaining a certain topic. So this week's topic, or this video's topic, is about our very first relationships experience. And everyone's different. Everybody might have had different things, experiences, but what we're going to be talking about are some relationship stuff that we've noticed from when we were young, and some things now that when we're semi-old. Well, I don't consider myself old. I'm 23.
Oh,
Amanda, how old are you?
I'm 24.
You're 24. Okay, so not that far apart. So anyway, as we get comfortable and we start talking about this, we're probably going to get a little bit off tangent, but we're going to try to come back to the original topic, right? So, first relationships. So, do you want to start about your very
Um,
first relationship that you had? How old were you and what happened?
okay, now when we talk about relationships, are we talking about our first like the first person we said I love you to, or like
I,
middle school relationship?
it could be both, honestly. I prefer even middle school because you still kind of learn some stuff from those things, Like I feel like I've learned actually quite a little bit from those really young kid relationships. So yeah, let's focus on that, and then we could jump into our most serious ones.
Oh my God. Okay. You want me to go first?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so middle school. Oh man, we got to cover up the names as well.
Yeah, all the names that you guys are hearing on this podcast are gonna be changed for privacy purposes. So just bear with us if we come up with really weird names. Just go along with it.
All right. What should my guy's name be? Benjamin Button. All right,
Benjamin
so
Button.
Benjamin Button. Yeah, middle school, eighth grade was probably my first relationship. I never even kissed him, so I feel like this doesn't count. But we dated for 6 months. All we did was hold hands. We hung out outside of school once, I believe. And he ended up cheating on me with another girl. And then later I found out that he was actually, like in high school, he came out and he was gay. So
Okay, whoa,
um,
whoa. Okay, so how long did you date this kid?
for 6 months, but we didn't kiss. Like I've been going with it.
At at any point, during those 6 months, did you want to kiss him?
No, I was a little prude back then. I was. So I didn't even like. I
You,
didn't care for it. I didn't think of it.
it's weird because I remember when I was a kid, I remember I had this one girl I was dating. Her name was I don't know, Nikki, and I remember I've never kissed a girl before, and we were in sixth grade, and she told me that she's going to let me know when she was ready to kiss me, and and the way she wanted to let me know was by we used to watch a lot of TV or movies in her living room. Obviously, we couldn't go into her room, but she said, "Okay, I'm gonna once I turn off like the TV with the remote control, that's when you'll know that you can kiss me." It's so weird. It was so weird. It was like,
Have you
okay.
have you told me this before? I feel
No,
like you haven't told me the
no,
story.
no, this goes way back. No, I haven't told you this before.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, but anyway, so he dated him for like 6 months, and he came out. But who did he cheat with you on, or who did he cheat with you with? Some other girl or some other
Oh,
guy?
some other girl, and that girl ended up being lesbian, which is weird.
Wow.
Like how the dynamic. I don't know if it's. I don't know.
Yeah, you're
I don't know if
cutting.
it's karma
You're
or.
you're you're coming in and out of the call a little bit.
I'm on a bridge where there's no service.
We have a guy and then we have a girl talking about the same issue. I think you could provide some insight for you guys into these types of topics.
And not only that, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, so not only that, but you're also like a single guy and you've maintained like being single for a while, and I'm like in a relationship, so I'm coming from a relationship aspect. So
Okay, yeah, that's also true. So yeah, we are coming from a little bit of different uh statuses right now.
yeah, so it's gonna be interesting.
Okay, so no, so keep going with the with the guy who cheated on you, and what grade was this again?
It was in eighth grade.
Eighth grade. Okay.
I don't even know how it lasted 6 months. Like, I don't know. But I don't. I feel like that doesn't count. But it was a middle school relationship, so you can.
6 months. I mean, that's half a year. But
Yeah, but we hung out once outside of school and held hands, never kissed. That does
what?
not count.
So
Yeah,
this was strictly like a in school thing.
yeah. He never even tried to kiss me, which makes sense because, I mean, I'm sure he
Wow.
wasn't all that interested in me.
Wow. Okay.
He was figuring himself out, so I'm sure he wasn't really like too interested in me.
And who asked out who? Who asked out, like, did you ask him out to be your boyfriend? Did he Was it one of those weird awkward things? You're like, okay, I'm gonna be the boyfriend and you get to be the girlfriend.
Okay, yeah, I decided to be the boyfriend. No, I'm just kidding. Um, no, back in middle school we used to pass notes and write notes to each other all during class. But
Wow.
yeah, so that's how it went down. And I believe he asked me out on like a notebook when we were writing notes to each other.
A
Um,
notebook. Wow, that's a ballsy move. I don't think I could do that nowadays. I mean, how imagine me sitting in class next to this girl and I pass her a note. I think it'll be kind of cute, kind of weird. I don't know.
oh yeah, in college. No, that would be weird in college. I feel that would be weird.
Yeah. Okay, so so he came out. So did he come out while you guys were still in a relationship, or was this like after?
No, this was probably 2 years later. So he was still figuring himself out. I don't,
Oh,
you know,
okay.
yeah.
That's so that was like your very first like little taste of what a relationship was, kinda.
Yeah, I don't
Cool.
count this. Maybe like the first guy I said I love you to, but
Okay, well let's get back to that in a minute. I'm
now
gonna.
let's hear yours.
Okay, yeah, I don't even know where to start. Um, well, I remember I was at summer day camp. I used to go to the summer day camp in a town nearby, and I used to go there Monday through Friday. And there's this one chick that like I started talking to and meeting, but we were really immature around each other. We just were really shy and like really awkward, obviously. And this was back when I was like in what, sixth grade. But I actually met her when I was in fourth grade or fifth grade, and we would only see each other during the summer, like when we would go to summer day camp. So I remember the second year. I remember I think the second year that we went to summer day camp. I started talking to her like that. And then eventually I got her phone number. At the time, it wasn't a cell phone number; it was actually like a house number.
Oh
And
yes, the good old
yeah,
days.
yeah, exactly. And we would talk. We would talk through like the phone. We would just talk a lot throughout like the house phone. And then you know what? Actually, I had that's when I first created my YouTube channel around that time. So, by the way, guys, I have a YouTube channel. It's a gaming channel. Some of these stories I'm gonna tell you guys probably I have already said in that gaming channel. So go check it out. I'm gonna link it below. Make sure to check it out. Anyways,
Wait, hold on. This was sixth grade. You should have like 1,000 subscribers by now. Like what?
well, the thing
Sixth
is,
grade?
I don't upload consistently. The thing is, I have two channels. I have my main channel and then I have a gaming channel that I created the gaming channel. I think like over a year ago. So I just haven't uploaded consistently just because I don't know. Sometimes I get lazy. That's pretty much the key. But anyways, so this girl, so we started talking on the phone, and then YouTube was like the Facebook back then. Like before I had Facebook, like YouTube was where people, all my friends had YouTubes, and they would all have YouTube channels, and they would comment a lot on the profile. They would comment kind of like you would on Facebook, and it's crazy. So I remember we got really close like that, and then I would always go over her house, and I don't think she ever came over to my house. It's really weird. I met her family. She was really cool. But obviously we were really awkward and weird with each other. And I've never kissed anybody before. And I remember we were talking about that, about like kissing eventually, because we were like cuddling, we were holding hands and whatnot, really cute. And then what happened? And then yeah, and then she told me, okay, when I'm ready to kiss you, I'm going to turn like on and off the TV, and that's gonna be the sign that you can kiss me. Because I was too afraid, like I was really nervous. I didn't know how to engage. I didn't know how to do any of that, so I was really nervous about it. But the sad thing is, we never really ended up doing that, and then we actually ended up breaking up like 4 months later. So I think we dated for doing that like for 4 months. That was
Is
my
this
very.
your second? This
What?
is your second longest relationship, isn't it?
Um, is it?
I think so. I think that is.
Oh, well, that's weird.
Let's not talk about it.
Yeah, but okay, yeah, and then okay, so that was my first little sample relationship. Okay, that's how we were back in like middle school. You know, everybody was very awkward, very weird. Like they would, and the thing is, the kids that were the biggest badasses like in the school, those were the ones that weren't afraid to kiss girls. They would just kiss them, and that was it. And they just by kissing them, they thought that they were the toughest dudes in the school, and that was the weird part. So a lot of kids were very awkward and shy about that. So that was my very first experience with that. And okay, so now let's transition to like the very first real relationship that we've had, and how we went about that. So let's go back to you, and then let's hear about that first experience.
Oh man. Okay, so my first actual serious relationship was probably senior year in high school, going into senior year in high school, and I dated him for about a year. And do I pretty much say like how we broke up? I guess we.
Yeah, just give us like a quick overview, like a quick rundown. Like, how did you guys meet? When did it when did it start to get serious? Like, what were some of the things that he did that made you feel like things were serious? And then obviously the breakup at the end. How did that come about?
Okay, so we met. He went to a different school in town, but he came over for a nursing program at my school. And I guess he seen me in the hallways, and he added me on Facebook. And then he started liking my pictures. And then at the time on Facebook, this was like a popular thing. It was like my status, and I'll fill in the blank like, would you date me? Would you kiss me? Blah blah blah, all that stuff.
It's weird
Do you
because I've
remember
seen,
that?
yeah, I do, and the weird thing is that there's still posts about that. I see them every once in a, they're like a rare thing, but I did see posts about that. Yeah.
I can't remember the last time I've seen one of those, but that's how it went about. And he liked my thing, and I posted, I responded to it or whatever. And then he is it slide into your DMs with Facebook? What is it called? Slide into your
That's
messenger? I
that
don't know.
that's Instagram actually, but back then Facebook didn't have a messenger. They just had like a message like like part. They didn't have like a separate messenger like how they do now.
God, I feel like I'm getting old. I'm like, what's that thing? Were you around when MySpace was a thing? Did you have a MySpace?
I did have a MySpace, yeah. MySpace was really cool, but I stopped using it, and I think at one point I deleted it. I shouldn't have done that because everything's still there. I wanted to look back at some old pictures, but I couldn't find them because I deleted my account.
Now, if you still had a MySpace, would I be on your top eight?
Probably, because I think I asked you once if you had a MySpace, and I actually looked you up. I'm not trying to be weird or anything, but I looked you up because I think you told me you had one, and I saw a couple, like an old picture of you, and I think I even mentioned it to you. You're like, delete that. I don't
Oh
know.
my God, I have to go and deactivate my MySpace somehow and remember all my credentials so people don't
Yeah,
look me up.
yeah. So you did this fill out thing, and he liked it, so you had to make a thing for him on on the post.
Yeah, so I made a thing for him, and I thought he was good looking at the time. Definitely my types have changed from back when I was in high school to now. Like the type of guy, it's weird. Like he wouldn't be like the type of guy I would date now. But anyways, he started messaging me, and we started joking around, and we ended up meeting at the I think it was like a 7-Eleven outside of 7-Eleven. It was like a halfway point between us, and then we went to go get ice cream, and then we went to this like lake thing, and we had mutual friends, and we the first time we hung out, we just called our friends and like did prank calls with our friends and stuff. That was like the thing back then.
Oh, so you okay? So you guys went out for ice cream, and then you did prank calls, pretty much.
Yeah, and it was actually really good. It was good, but I was like bad at communicating. I was not good at relationships. He wasn't the greatest either. But we ended up dating for a year. We didn't do anything at the time. I was abstinent. I wouldn't didn't want to have sex till marriage.
When? Oh wow. Okay, things have changed. So when was the first time did you guys actually kiss? Like around what point in the relationship? Now keep in mind, guys, this is in high school. It's going to senior year, but
It was probably I would think like a month in.
okay, a month in. And
So
and he was he the first guy you've ever kissed?
no, I kissed someone like yeah before that, but he was my first like serious like I told him I loved him and I meant it at the time.
Wow. Okay. And when did you say that? At what like around what point?
What time? At what point did I say I love you?
Yeah.
I think it was around like maybe 3 to 4 months.
Okay,
But
3 to 4 months.
he literally said it like I think it was like the second or third week, and I was taken back by it. I was like, I'm gonna hold off. Me saying I love you to someone is like really important. I will hold off forever. So I
Yeah.
really mean it.
Yeah, things, people used to throw that word around left and right, and it's really weird. Back in middle school, even that happened to me, and people would say it really, really soon, as if like, oh my God, like I love you. Like I just like I don't know, like so it didn't have the same meaning that it holds now. Obviously, like when you love someone, it's more of a deep thing. Back then, it was just like, I love ice cream. I love, I love sleeping, I love you, like stuff like that. But some people meant it, and it was kind of weird.
I totally agree. People said it like it was nothing.
I'm not gonna lie, I was guilty of that. I was guilty of telling girls that. But after they did it to me, it's like once they said it to me, then I was like, okay, that's my green light to say it back. But yeah, back then I didn't really know what that meant, and I just said it because it just felt good to say. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. So you don't feel like you really did love them at the time?
Yeah, exactly. It was just like a really sweet thing to say back then. Like, hey, you're really cute. Hey, you're really pretty. Hey, I love you.
Oh my God, I cannot. I cannot with you.
uh,
Okay.
that's kind of how I went about it back then. Now I won't say that until obviously I won't say that until it gets really serious. And but okay, so he was your first relationship, like serious thing. And how long did you guys last again?
It was a year, so I want to get to the point where how it ended.
Okay.
So I was I was absent at the time, and he was going off to college because we did it pretty much all senior year, and he was going
Okay.
off to college, and I told him I'm abstinent before he asked me to be his girlfriend, and he's like, oh, I'm totally fine with it. And then when he started going off to college, he was like, he gave me an ultimatum. He's like, either sleep with me or before I go to college, or we're breaking up. And we broke up. And that was that.
Wow, so that combo must have been very tough.
Yeah, he came and tried talking to me after, saying, "Oh, he was just kidding." But I'm like, no,
JK.
he was serious. He was just trying to cover it up because he thought, he would get his way. But
Yeah,
that's
that's
good.
crazy. That's
It worked
crazy.
out for the best. We're still on good terms and stuff. So
Yeah, wow. And no, but when I first met you, you were what year were you in again? Were you a senior?
no, I just graduated, and we ended up he said, oh, he learned from everything, and we ended up getting back together. And I met you at the time. I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we broke up. That was short lived. That was it.
Did you guys break up before you started working at ShopRite?
No, I was working at ShopRite and you were there. Remember, I called you talking about it, and you were giving him the benefit of the doubt on a lot of scenarios. But I'm
Yeah, I
pretty
don't
sure, like,
remember that. I mean,
you remember, if I tell you something, you'll be like, oh yeah, I remember. But I don't want to say it over.
yeah, we could say that. We could save that for another podcast. That's cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
All
Yeah,
right.
no,
Who's
that
your love you?
I definitely don't. I definitely think that's wrong that he gave you an ultimatum like that. Doing that to anybody, especially on such a very fragile situation, it's not a way. It's not the best way to go.
Yeah, he should have never went into the relationship.
Coming out of that
Uh,
relationship, what did you learn?
uh, never. How do I put this into words? Never let someone try to think like I guess they can control me or anything like that.
Hmm.
Always stick up for what I believe in, and if someone doesn't love me for the way I am, like they kick them to the curb. They're not right for me.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think that's a very valuable lesson. Um, Definitely you should learn that sooner than later because I feel like a lot of girls nowadays when they're in middle school or high school, they just want to date anybody and they're not picky, you know what I mean? So they end up dating the wrong dudes and then guess what? That's going to guide them of what they think of men down the road and then they're just going to be hurt. But let me see when was my first serious relationship? Well, honestly, I've had a couple. My most serious one was probably and I've told you this millions of times. I've already told you this a lot, but it would have to be my 1 year relationship that I had. Just this was like we ended almost 2 years ago now. It's been a while. But anyway, I'm gonna tell you guys how we met, how serious it got, some of the problems that we had, and then I'm gonna talk about how we ended. And I'm gonna try to condense this because I don't want to make this video too long. But if you have any, Amanda, if you have any questions, let me know. And if you want to say something, just jump in. I don't care. Okay? You're coming in. You're going in and out.
Oh crap! Hold on. Is it still in?
Yeah, you're good now. You're good.
All right. All right. Let me park. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So, guys, I'm gonna jump into this my most recent relationship, and it's my most serious. There's been a couple of girls that really influenced me throughout my life, but this one would have to be the most impactful. And so I'm gonna tell you guys. I'm gonna short little story, and then I'm gonna tell you guys what I learned. I learned a lot of things, but first of all, so back then, I was what a junior in college. I just started my junior year, and I had a couple girls in my psychology class, and I thought one of them was really cute, and I ended up approaching her when we were uh, kind of assigned a group project for the we had to do a study. We had to do a study on this certain topic, and we needed a partner. So I thought she was really cute, so I went and approached her, and I asked her if she wanted to be my partner. And she was really nervous when I was talking to her. I was really in a very good state of living. Like my well-being was really good. I felt very confident about myself, whatever. So I asked her if she wanted to be my partner, and she said yes, and that was all good. And then we ended up she actually ended up coming over my dorm, and we may or may not have done some stuff on the first quote unquote date. But we tried. I mean, we did some studying after, so it was all for good purpose. Anyway, so after that, after whatever that happened, we started texting back and forth, and we just our chemistry was just really good. It wasn't like any other types of girls that I've dated before. Like this chemistry was very genuine. It was very like we were getting along, and for the first time, I actually felt like she had it all. That she had what I was looking for, and so we were
Wait,
just
hold on. Would you think like she would be the type of girl
yo, you're coming in and out again.
I'm gonna find a good location.
Yeah, okay, you're good now.
All right, let me park right here. Okay, I'm good.
Yes, for now. Yes.
Okay, so would looking back now, would you still say she has qualities a girl you would look for now for a girlfriend?
Yes, she had a lot of really good qualities that made her a good girlfriend. The problem was is that I only saw those qualities. I didn't see um, behind the scenes. I didn't see the things that she was dealing with. I didn't know some of the stuff that she was dealing with. I couldn't really understand some of the things that she was dealing with. So I didn't really pay attention too much to those things. I wanted to be in the good. I didn't want to be in the bad. And by being in the good, it felt better. I didn't want to really explore that bad side to her because all I've been seeing is good stuff. You know, it's kind of like a winning streak. You keep winning at something, you keep winning, winning, winning. But then when you see like, okay, something's wrong or there's a problem, you don't want to confront it. You don't want to face it, and you rather look over it to stay on the good side of things. And I think that applies to a lot of relationships nowadays. A lot of girls, I think, they want to leave their boyfriends, but they can't because they want to stay in those good feelings that the guy has made her, that has put her in. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure. I agree with that.
Yeah. Um, so yeah. So she had a lot of qualities about her, but then she was still involved with her ex at the time. She was heavily involved with her ex. She was like, I don't know, hanging out with him. She was still talking to him. She didn't want to give him up because it was they were dating. They were going out for like 4 years. So it was a long time. And then and so when I met her, I didn't know about that. I had to find out the hard way that that she that she still was still involved in his life. So, at this point, guys, it's been like a couple of weeks, almost gonna hit a month. We've been really digging each other. We've been hanging out a lot. I took her out to some parties. We were hanging out. We were really doing well. And then so I asked her to be my girlfriend, and she said yes. So now at this point, we've made it official. And I was a really happy guy at the time. I was really happy that I was with her, and I wanted to just do so many things with her. Just wanted to like take her out, go eat. It was awesome. It was amazing. And then around Halloween time came. Now, keep in mind, guys, like school started like when did school start? Like early September, and then at this point now we're in like October, like late October. Okay, Halloween rolls around. There's a couple of Halloween parties, right? And so we I think I have my costume, and she wanted to go to Forever 21 to get to get her costume, just to get some stuff to like put on, whatever. So we get there, and as we're waiting in line as to ring things out, she gets a phone call from her mom. Her mom calls her, and she's freaking out. She's literally freaking out over the phone, and she starts like she puts the stuff back, and she's not telling me what's going on. She's just like freaking out. I don't know what the hell is going on. So as we're walking out of the mall, because we were at the mall at the time, as we're walking out, I ask her like, "What's going on? Like, can you talk to me?" And she's like, "Oh, it's my crazy ex-boyfriend that showed up at my house." Right? And I was like, "What? Like what?" Like I was so confused at the time because I didn't think she was still involved with her previous relationship. So I actually got really upset by that, and she drove me back to Central, uh, Central where I was going, my college, and she left and she went back home, and I was like dumbfounded. I was like, "What the hell is going on?" You know what I mean?
Now, you didn't know she texting him at
Uh,
the time?
yeah, apparently yes. I remember.
You
Listen,
didn't know.
yeah, I remember. You want to know the crazy thing that I didn't pay attention to, but I should have. When we were doing things, quote unquote things, she accidentally said his name by accident. His name was Dave, and
You never told me that. What?
yeah, she slipped. She accidentally, oh my, she's like, oh my God, like Dave something, and I was like, what? Like I was really, but I decided we were in the moment. I didn't want to make a big deal, a big scene out of it. That's what I'm saying. Like I wanted to stay in the good, so I overlooked it. And then I remember throughout her contacts, like she would still have like his name and then a heart next to it. And I would never question that. Like I don't know why. It was really weird. I thought she was like over him. Like they just recently like broke up. And I never paid attention to that. So she goes home, whatever. And anyway, guys, to make a long story short, it took her a while to get over her ex. I had to confront her many times to get rid of him. And at one point, she was even lying to me about not talking to him. And then that was a point where I really was thinking about ending things. So this was already like a couple months into the relationship, so it was tough on me. Um, there was one incident when I was genuinely worried about her well-being because apparently she was with him and he was like yelling at her, calling her names, like verbal abuse, and she told me that like he pushed her or something. It was crazy. I really wanted to get the police involved to like investigate because I didn't want her to get hurt, and I kept asking her, "Where are you? Where are you?" Whatever. So, so what happened was, um, we it took her a while to get over that, and it took around like January time was when she really fully let go of that dude. So I had to struggle with that for like 3 months. It sucked. Anyways, but then once when he was fully out of her life, that's when we started actually flourishing and becoming a better pair. And then as the time went on, things just changed, and I started feeling like she was manipulating me, trying to control me, trying to control my hobbies. Like I like to go out with my friends. She was trying to control that. She would have some anxiety attacks, some panic attacks, and she wouldn't let me do the things. She wouldn't let me do the things that I wanted to do with my friends because of those panic attacks or anxiety attacks. And it took a while for me to really understand that. It was very inconvenient for me, and eventually some boundaries were crossed where I told her that if you do this again, I won't be able to handle this. And so she did, and then that's when I had to break the news to her that I just can't do this anymore. And this was a girl that I consider that I love this girl, and I didn't really notice that. I didn't, once things ended, they ended about like a year later. um, I really felt that sense of loss for the first time in my life. I felt like I lost someone, like somebody died to me, like somebody died. It was really intense, and I never felt that before. And that's how I know that underneath all that bullshit, all those problems, something could have been worked out, because those feelings were underneath all those layers of like annoyance and frustration. They could have risen above that eventually, but I did have my reasons for ending things, and that was just it. And so ever since then, I learned a lot from that relationship. I learned how to be more patient, how to be more open, how to understand better, how to communicate better. So all these things I think really like just hit me all at once at one point.
So all the single girls out there, hit him up. He's single.
Yes, hi. Well, I don't know where viewers are gonna come from, but
Would you date a girl from a different state, like California? Because you're in Connecticut right now. So would you date someone from California?
no, I can't do that. That's too long of a distance, honestly.
Yeah.
It's funny because I used to have these Colombian girls like hit me up like back in the day. And I was in freaking Connecticut, and they were in Colombia, but they would be hitting me up, talking to me like we're already going out, like just like calling me all these really sweet names and whatnot. And I mean, I liked it. I liked the attention, but it never got any further than just eventually they just kind of lost interest, or I just lost interest, and we went our separate ways. And that was the end of that. It's just long distance relationships do not. I don't think they could work, honestly. There's too much other external stimulation unless there's something connecting you guys like a soul bond or something. I don't think it'll work. That's just my opinion.
Everybody's different, yeah. It depends on what works for you. But also, I wanted to talk. I don't know if we're gonna fit all this, but about dating apps.
Dating apps?
Yes, that's the hot topic. Everyone's on dating apps.
Okay. I think we should save that for our next podcast.
All right,
I think
that'll
that'll
be
give
our
us more.
next.
Yeah, I think that'll give us more content. But other than that, I want to wrap this up a little bit. So anything else that you want to add to just what you've learned throughout your years of relationships? And I know you're in one right now. So how are you applying what you've learned before to your current relationship?
Okay, I feel like with the other relationships, it's all a matter of how compatible you are. But it took me 23 years to realize that communication is key. Like, you need to communicate every little thing for it to work, and, let the person know what's on your mind and everything. And that was my downfall in a lot of my relationships, on my end and maybe on the other person's end. But yeah, I definitely learned that communication is key in a relationship, and my relationship is a lot better than any relationship I've ever been in because of it.
You know what's the hardest thing about communication? I think I agree. I think that's the most important thing. But you know what's really tough about it?
What?
is the fact that you don't want to get into any confrontations with the other person. Like you don't want to really like speak out your mind. So like if they want to do one thing, you don't want to say I don't want you to do that, or I really don't feel comfortable you doing that, because it's gonna make you sound like controlling and manipulative, stuff like that. So people rather avoid confrontation, that's really crazy because there would be so many times where my ex girlfriend, the one that I dated for a year, she would like say I'm fine, but like not really tell me what's on her mind. Like she had such an attitude. She was like I'm fine, or like go do whatever you want to do. But obviously her body was saying the other thing, right? And that's what I mean. Like she didn't want to confront me about it because she thought she didn't want to look like crazy or something. Um, but that's a lack of communication. That right there is a lack of communication, and that's what I'm saying. That's hard. It's hard to really speak out what's on your mind because you might sound like manipulative or like controlling.
Yeah, I don't. Well, that's the thing about communication. You have to, come across like from both backgrounds and understand the other person's perspective when you are communicating what you want to do and what you don't want to do. But I can't believe that lasted a year and the communication just wasn't there for you. That's
Um,
pretty good. That's pretty good to be honest.
yeah, the I mean, listen, I think from the start communication wasn't she wasn't really fully being honest with me. From her not informing me about her past and that she was still involved with her ex, I think her communication on her part was just shit. It really was. It wasn't until later that she really started speaking up about what she really feels about me doing certain things, and then that's when we bumped into a lot of arguments. But it's for the best, honestly. I think it was for the best because you don't want to just hold emotions in. You don't want to hold your thoughts in these relationships. And back then, I think honestly, I think communication back then was better than communication now, like in relationships nowadays. Because back then, back in middle school, when I dated all these girls, we would actually talk about. That's why they lasted so short, honestly, because we would be like really open with each other and be like, "Hey, well, I don't think it's working out," or like, or they would be really expressive and they would really let me know how they feel about things. They weren't like just trying to like, I don't know, just say they weren't taking it so seriously. They didn't really care. But like as you now, it's like you don't want to confront others. Like you want to not sound so like manipulative. Girls back then, they didn't care if they looked manipulated, like controlling. They were just doing whatever they wanted. But now it's kind of like they want to hold back, and that it comes from experience. They know because back then when I said that, it turned out for the worse. So now I'm gonna just hold back on saying this because I don't want to get into any arguments. I think that it's like all those previous experiences just kind of like add up over time.
Yeah. I feel like you definitely need more relationships because you need to, even in your last relationship, um wouldn't you feel like there wasn't communication on your end either because you were feeling all these things? Did you communicate that with her before you broke up with her?
I did. I did actually. I communicated to her that, hey, listen, if you freak out one more time about this, about me not having, spending time with one of my guy friends, that, it was my last year. I really wanted to have fun, but also maintain a relationship. The fun that I was talking about wasn't like hooking up with other girls or like kissing other girls or shit. Nothing. It didn't even have to do anything with girls, to be honest. Having fun just simply meant hanging out with my guy friends, at a party or something, and just like being social, talking to people. Um, and she didn't do that. I told her. Um, we actually went to a therapist and we talked about it too. And I was very communicative around that time, and I was letting her know how I was feeling. And I told her next time you do this, it's gonna be a boundary. It's like I was setting her boundaries, and if you cross these boundaries again, I'm not gonna be able to handle it, and I'm gonna break up. Like it's just I can't take it. And she did just that, and it wasn't even that long after. It was like a week later that we saw this therapist, and it was like a week later, and she ended up doing what I told her trying not to do. And she knew that it pissed me off. She knew that it got on my nerves, but she still did it anyways. And
What
hey,
did she do?
I'm not saying she's in the wrong for that. Hey, if that's really how she's feeling, that's okay, but it's not something that I want to be around. Um, she blew up my phone. She called me like 10 times, and she was kind of the one to say that she couldn't do this. It wasn't me. It was her, to be honest. She said she texted me saying I can't do this, and I got really pissed off because I was like trying to just hang out with my guy friends, right? And I got when she said that, I was like, okay, all right, I've had enough. Like we either gotta clear this up or we're gonna end it, you know? So I went back to my dorm and I called
Mhm.
her. I called her up on the phone and I told her, I was like, all right, like I don't think it's gonna work out. And she was like, okay, I'm driving there right now. And I was like, "Ugh, all right." So she did. She drove down. I went to go meet her outside in her car. We talked about it for like, I don't know how long we talked about it. But but yeah, you know, I told her you crossed the boundaries, and I can't do this. So we ended up just ending things there. I was the one to just call things off, and that was the end of that. It wasn't the last time. It wasn't the last time I spoke to her. We spoke for a little bit, a couple of weeks after that, but over time, later that Thanksgiving in November, things were kind of dying down, and the last thing I ever spoke to her about, the last thing we spoke about, it was literally nothing. I just told her Happy Thanksgiving, and she said you too, and that's it pretty much. And then after that, she found somebody 2 months later, and yeah, and then that was the end of that. Um, but hey, I still want to be on good terms with her. I mean, she was a great person. It's just not relationship wise. I just don't think it worked. We
Now,
really tried, but
how long did it was a year relationship, so how long did it take for it to actually hit you that, the breakup hurts, and how long did it take for you to realize like you're over her?
yeah, coming out of that relationship, I felt really confident about myself and like, okay, I just had a girlfriend. Like I was very confident about how girls think and how girls thought about, right? So I went out there and, I started meeting these different girls and whatnot. But then at the end of the day, it didn't, I felt I had like an emptiness still, something that all these layers, what I was telling you about, all these layers of frustration were kind of peeling away because I wasn't getting frustrated anymore. I wasn't getting annoyed anymore. All those negative qualities just kind of started stripping themselves away until the very core feelings, the raw feelings I had for her started to show up again. And I felt guilty about it. I felt guilty about a lot of things. I started thinking, man, like I started thinking from her perspective. I was thinking just about me, but I didn't really think about what she wanted from me, like, and stuff like that. So I felt guilty about what I did, and I called her and I tried to apologize, and she said it was okay. But from the way she sounded, she was pretty much over me at that point. This was like 3 weeks later, almost a month later after our breakup, and I really felt that. And I started having a lot of dreams about her, about how I could have had some closure with her and or some proper closure, and how we could have moved on from that. And I had a lot of dreams to this point, and it became a very reoccurring dream, and I had to find somebody to talk to for that, and it was hard. But for you guys out there listening, all relationships can be overcome at some point or another. I think so. Maybe not
For sure.
100%, but a lot of them.
I think I've only had like one like bad breakup where I was just like genuinely upset. But we're now, how long did it take for you to get over your ex?
Whew, that's a good question. Well, I think it took like about a year, to be honest. It took about a year to really just move on, and even to this day, it's not that I haven't moved on. It's just that I'm trying to approach things very, very, very carefully with my next relationship and not just jump into things. I really want to learn about a girl's past this time. Every mistake that I made in the past with her, I want to try to fix up and do better with my future significant other. So it's a you live and you learn experience, and but that
And,
was pretty much that.
and I've noticed that even like when you're on the dating apps and you're talking to these girls, like you know what you want, and you'll completely like stop talking to the girl if she has a quality that you don't want in somebody. So that's good.
Yeah, and it's hard. It's hard because it's hard because they might seem like a nice person. Like they might seem like, oh, this is a really nice girl, but she has this thing right now, and it's something that it's like a red flag almost. You know what I mean? But their character is fine. But
Yeah.
anyway, so let's wrap up this podcast right now, and let's give you guys a future topics. We'll be talking about. Let's make our next topic dating apps. How about that? Talk about dating apps.
That's gonna be a good one.
Yeah, we'll talk about dating apps. We'll talk about what girls look for in guys on those dating apps. Amanda will talk about a little bit about that. I'm gonna talk about what guys usually look for in the girl apps. I mean, not in the girl apps, what they look for in girls in those apps. Sound good?
And we're gonna try posting like once a week.
Yes.
When do you think we can get this up? How, like tomorrow?
Yeah, either
No,
tonight
no.
or tomorrow.
Oh, awesome. All right. Well, send it to me first and let me know.
Okay, sounds good. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're listening to this or if you're watching this, thank you guys so much. And we'll speak to you guys soon. Like I said, I don't expect a lot of views from this video, but hey, people post up some really crazy stuff on there and they get views that whatever. There's actually an Instagram, quick thing, there's an Instagram profile where they just post a picture of fruit every day, like the same picture, and it gets like thousands of likes and comments, and I don't get it. I really don't get it, but alright guys, see you guys on the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and don't forget to click that bell icon under the notifications bar. So we'll be talking soon, okay?
All right, and I'll be posting on my Instagram and Facebook and letting you guys know our next podcast and when we're coming out with a new one.
Yes, you have a lot more followers than I do on Instagram, and don't.
Do I?
Do you want me to link your Instagram on the description box?
Yeah, why not? Go ahead.
All right, cool. All right, guys. So we'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.
All right.
Peace. Bye, Amanda.
Bye.
We'll talk later.
All right, bye.